And it is a nice full house for Captain this morning. Welcome to our Oceans Ahead presentation, which is all about how the Celebrity Edge was built. And if you have got any questions at the very end of this, please stick around at the end. Captain will answer as many questions as possible. Now, Captain Matt was the staff captain who went all the way to France for 2 years to help create this beautiful vessel before she did set sail. If anyone knows this ship better than anyone, it is Captain Matt himself. Now, this is all part of your celebrity activities, so hopefully you enjoy yourself. So please welcome to the stage our incredible captain, Captain Matt!
Well, everybody, very good morning. How are you doing? It's wonderful to see a full house this morning. Thank you very much for coming with this beautiful day outside that you decide to spend here your morning. For you that you don't know me by now, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Matt, and I am your captain. I'm coming all the way from the very beautiful country of Greece. As Dom said, I was lucky enough to be the chosen one that was sent actually to France 30 months before the delivery of the Edge, in order to be the person that will plan, approve, inspect all the systems before the ship came to life. Right? So it was a great trip. I have prepared some very nice photos of you to see how the ship was built. Just to let you know that the ship is like a Lego, right? Same way, 28 pieces. Okay, you are currently on piece number 8. Now, have you attended any of you Secrets of Cinema presentation before? Have you seen before? Okay, so for you that you've seen or for you that you haven't seen, it's going to be a little bit different way. All right, I'm trying to do it my own way. I'm trying to not to give you too much technical details, so I don't make it tiring, and at the same time give you a great understanding of all what is happening and how we run the business on board. So by the end of the presentation, you will have the chance, and as you will see during the slides, I have nothing to hide. So at the end of the presentation, you have the chance to ask me any questions you might have for the bridge, for the operation of the ship, or even personal questions. I don't have really any secrets. Okay? The only thing is that here now I have to make one statement. If you think by the end of this presentation you will go up and drive, no. Right? Okay, very good. So, Celebrity Edge. Celebrity Edge is 306 meters long, and this is my favorite slide, and I will explain you why. So if I put Celebrity Edge standing, we are pretty much the same height with Eiffel Tower. So as you may see, I love the ship's food. Do you like the food on board? Yes. Me too. So before I go for breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner, pizza, I always think that I have to go the Eiffel Tower up and down, and gives me power to continue eating. Alright? So Celebrity Edge was the first out of 5 with the one that is coming, and actually 6, the one that has been already ordered and announced, Celebrity Edge class vessels. You should know that Edge class has been a very successful class, and is not only about celebrity cruises, but I will tell you later on as well in regards to the design, how it changed the industry philosophy in regards to designing ships. She was delivered on October 30th of 2018. She's 6 years old. She has 4 big engines and 1 small engine. She can produce a total power, she can make a maximum speed of 23 knots. When we are doing 23 knots, you don't need to hear the captain's announcement in order to understand how much speed we make. If you check the funnel, you see the dollars flying. Okay? The ship can produce a total power of 44,000 horses. We have azimuth propulsion, so we have our propellers, you will see later pictures, that they can rotate 360 degrees. As well, we have 4 bow thrusters of total power of 18,800 horses. They are located on the very front of the ship, and they help the bow to move from side to side when we are in very low speed, in speed less than 4 knots, all right? Bow thrusters is a great tool for our maneuverability, the same way with the azipods. You should know that the vessel is certified to win winds up to 45 knots. What does it mean, win the winds of 45 knots? Does it mean that now if we have 50 outside, the ship stops because it cannot operate? Means that whenever we are in 0 speed and we have beam wind on the side up to 45 knots, the ship has enough power to overpower this wind and to navigate safely, all right? Now, you should know that the threshold in the majority of the ports, the limitation in the majority of the port is 30 knots. So you can understand how powerful the vessel is. In addition to that, because of the maneuvering philosophy, the vessel is able to make a 360 degrees in 4 minutes. 90 degrees per minute. I have seen it. We have done it in the trials because this is where we are getting certified. And I can tell you, you don't want to see it. Right? The only thing that I can say is that your soup will not stay on the table. Okay? All right. So, one of the favorite questions that I always receive is, Captain, if you are here, who is driving? And my response is always the same, that my wife is driving. And the reason is because if she can drive me, I can tell you she can drive the edge as well. So, before I tell you how many people, what are these 10 people in the bridge they are doing, let me explain you how the operational tree of the vessel works. So we actually have 3 departments on board. We have the marine deck department that has to do with the navigation, safety, security, medical, and public health. This department is led by a 4 stripes officer that is the staff captain, who is a fully qualified captain. Then we have the technical department that has to do with all technical aspects on board, auxiliary, AC, electrical, accommodation, maintenance, that is led by another 4 stripe officer that is the chief engineer. And then we have the largest department on board, the hotel operations, that has to do all what has operating a hotel. Food and beverage, entertainment, guest services, housekeeping, anything that has revenue, anything that has to do with the hotel, you name it, it's under our hotel director, there's another 4 stripe officer. These 3 officers, they are reporting directly to the captain. The captain, he has the command of the ship from the day he signed on, all the way to the day he disembarked and his reliever is coming. So, even if I go out on a tour, if I go out for doing my shopping or to do a walk, anything that happens to the ship, it falls under my responsibility, despite if I am on board or not. The day that the responsibility goes away is the day that my reliever is coming and he signs the official logbook and he's taking over. Okay? In the bridge now, we are operating on a traffic light system, and later on I will explain you what defines the conditions. But there is 3 fully qualified captains. The captain, the staff captain, second in command, and the safety officer. These 3 persons, we don't perform duties. We are 24/7 on call. And captain decides who to dispatch when. All right? In addition to that, we have 24/7 clockwise duties, where we have minimum 3 persons at all times. When I mean at all times, I mean even when we are in port, there is minimum 3 persons that they need to be in the bridge, even when the ship is stopped, because the operation of the whole vessel, it happens from the bridge. So fire alarms, operation of fresh water, ballast management system, everything runs from the bridge. So bridge needs to be manned 24/7 with a minimum of 2 officers and 1 sailor. You can see now here different titles. Third officer, second officer, first officer, chief officer, safety officer, captain, staff captain. All of us, when we graduate from the Merchant Marine Academy, we are licensed captains. What is changing is the level of captaincy. So when I graduated from the Merchant Marine Academy back in 2004, I graduated as Captain Class C. Captain Class C means that I can be a captain to up to 10,000 tons vessel, up to 1,000 tons vessel, or up to first officer to an unlimited size vessel. So third officer, second officer, first officer, they are all licensed Captain Class C. In order, according to the Greek law, in order to go to to upgrade my license, I need to complete 32 months of sea service, going back to university for 6 months, graduate to Captain Class B. Captain Class B means I can serve as a captain to up to 10,000 tons vessel, or as a chief officer to an unlimited size vessel. 32 months of sea service, 6 months back to the university, graduating at Captain Class A. Captain Class A means that you can serve as a captain to an unlimited size vessel. This is a time that you are licensed and eligible to our company to get promoted to staff captain position. From that point forward, it's not only about marine knowledge. We are building our maritime knowledge and marine experience and skills, but at the same time now we have to get evaluated in regards to leadership, management, crowd control, PR. So all these we are getting evaluated. And before, if the marine office, say this guy is ready to get promoted to captain, we move to Miami. We are meeting in a week all the directors and vice presidents of all the departments of the company. We go through a one-to-one Q&A session. After all the department heads, they have given the green light. The last day we meet with the president. We go through one-to-one as well discussion with the president, and then she's giving us the green light to be promoted to captains. You understand that we are talking about $1 billion ship carrying 4,500 lives. So it's extremely, extremely important from the office point of view, the decision that they take to be from all sides in agreement that is the correct decision. All right? All right. So this is how it all works. Now, pilots. Have you seen pilots coming and going? Yes? Yeah. So pilot is not coming and taking the responsibility of the ship. In our vessels, the pilots, they have no responsibility. They are coming, they are great advisors, they are providing us with some important information in regards to the ports, but they have no responsibility to our vessels because they don't have the technological knowledge to navigate and maneuver our ships. Okay? There is only one place in the world where we are sharing responsibility with the pilot. Can you guess which place it is? Panama Canal. The only place where we share responsibility with the pilot is the Panama Canal. And the reason is because the moment that you enter in the locks, there is no space for error. And because the pilots, they're communicating either with the locomotives or the tug operators, that's why we are sharing the responsibility with the pilots. You know, Celebrity Edge is a Panama Canal vessel. That means that can go through, and has been through the Panama Canal, even if she's very wide, but it's going to the new locks, not to the elder ones. It doesn't fit to the elder ones. Now, Sources class ships, that they are shorter than the Edge ship, is not a Panama Canal vessel. What is the reason? Our ships, the Sources class ships, they have the lifeboats off the deck, extended from the ship's hull. So what we are waiting for as a company is we are going to actually wait a Carnival ship to go first. I'm joking. So the reason that we don't go with the Sources class ships here, they are not actually Panama Canal certified ships, is because when the water goes down, there is a risk because the ship goes down all the way to deck 5. So there is a risk of actually leaving the boats to Panama. We don't want this to happen. All right? So that's why we have actually, they are working the company with the Panama Canal team, the companies, not the company, and it has been found the formula how it can be done. They will add the big balloons, Yokohama fenders, that they will be keeping the vessel well clear from the pier when it goes up and down. Because the philosophy or the, have you been through Panama Canal? Yes, all the old ones with the locomotives? Okay, so the difference between the old ones and the new ones, now there is no locomotives anymore. The new ones, the ship goes alongside and there are attack boats that they are pushing the vessel, keeping it in position when it goes down or up, all right? So, what is the change now? They will put the Yokohama fenders so when the ship is alongside to actually have enough space from the pier to the boats when it goes down, all right? This is the philosophy. Now, there is one port in the world where, one country actually in the world, where we don't need pilot. Which country is this?
USA. Greece.
Greece. We don't need, but we take them. Malta. Why Malta? Because the ship is registered in Malta. The Valletta that you see in the back and the red flag with the cross on the back is the Malta flag, the maritime Malta flag. Now, because the law says that we are obliged to have pilots to all international waters where we sail. Malta is not. But have you been in Valletta? It's a very beautiful destination. We always take the pilots as well there because it's a port with high traffic and important information from the pilots. Now the next question that comes is, why Malta? Is Malta cheap and you have Malta flag? No, it's not because Malta has low requirements and that's why we have Malta flag. Malta has a great maritime organization that actually is approved to visit any ports globally. So my Greek license, by the way, Greek license is as well approved, but my Greek license, when I am joining the company, is getting endorsed to Maltese license. So wherever I navigate and wherever I sail in, they are checking in which country license I have. So to be able to proceed. You cannot have a ship now with Malta flag and hold an American license only. You need to have the Maltese license as well. That is, you don't have to go to give exams to Malta. They are accepting, based to the country that your license is from, they are accepting this license and they switch it to endorsement of Maltese flag, all right? So that's why we have Malta, is because it's a European Union country. Myself as a Greek license holder, I need to meet one of the 3 requirements in order to be able to keep my license active. Either to work on a Greek flag vessel, to work on a vessel that the company is paying taxes to the Greek government, or to work on a European Union flag vessel. By working here, I need 2 years, every 5 years of sea service in order to keep my license active. Okay? Okay. How long in advance you think we are working on a voyage? Between 2.5 to 3 years, 30 to 36 months in advance. So I can tell you that I know where the edge will be on winter 2027-28, but I'm not going to tell you. So the office is sending us an email 2.5 to 3 years in advance with the plan of our voyage, with the plan of our cruises for that time. This is the appraisal process, where we have to collect all the information in regards to the ports that we are planning to visit. We have to calculate the distance from port to port and to see, based on the times that the company is recommending that is feasible. We have to check all the information given that is reliable. So they are telling us a port and we don't find the information in the plans in the books that we have, in the charts that we have. Let me give you an example. Company says, Captain Matt, summer 2027-28, celebrity age will go alongside in pier in Santorini. Have you been in Santorini?
Yes.
Beautiful, yes? But doesn't have a pier, all right? So, it's not that somebody woke up a morning and had a vision that will be in 2 years ready a pier in Santorini. The company signed an agreement with the government, the Greek government for Santorini, that in 2 years will be ready. Of course, because it's Greece, we know that it's not going to be ready. What I'm trying to say is that when we sign this agreement and we put out for sale the cruise 2 years in advance, it's not because we just imagine that will be a pier ready for that particular port. We have signed a contract with penalties, with fees, like things that we need, time frames that they need to be met from the port. Of course, if the port will not make it on time, you blame us, we blame them, and this is how it goes, all right? But that's why sometimes you can see tendering port, for example, and finally we go alongside. Normally we don't risk the vice versa. Normally we don't risk to say it's going to be a pier and we will switch to tendering. When there is an underdevelopment port, we are going to put it as a tendering, and then if the port is really ready, we will be able to go alongside. We did this now the last 2 cruises ago when we went to South Pacific Islands. There were 2 ports that the ship never built before because it was the pier under development. So it was under tendering operation, but finally by vetting the ports, I gave the green light and we went to the pier, all right? So it can happen sometimes. This is now the preparations, the early stage process. From that moment that we send to the office after we finalize the plan, we don't bother for these cruises. The office, about 2 years in advance, will put these cruises for sale. They will reserve the berths after we tell them the times. They will reserve the ports, and they are going to put it on sale about 2 years in advance. Then 1 month before the execution, we are proceeding to the planning process. The planning process, navigation officer is going to plan the voyage, not in a paper chart. We don't have paper charts. In electronic charts only. Okay. The environmental officer is going to check that we meet all the environmental criteria. The staff captain is going to do the 2 persons check. Once these 3 they are aligned, the captain is going to review, check, and approve the voyage. This is the time that the voyage now is approved for navigation. When planning a voyage, we have 3 pillars that we always need to think of. Safety of the ship, safety of life, and preservation of the environment. These are the 3 pillars, all right? These are the 3 pillars in any decision we make. After I approve it, we send to the office, and the office then is working, is going to upload it in the system, and I will tell you later on how it goes. So, marine protected areas, there is a lot of areas in the world, and especially on this region where we live, that we have limitations in regards to speed, in regards to what we can discharge, and stuff like this. For example, arriving in Auckland or departing from Auckland, we were obliged to do speed of 10 knots for 35 miles because it's the Hauraki Channel that is a very famous whale activity area. We were doing it night time, so it wouldn't be possible for you to see any whales. That's why it was not any announcement. But it's a 35 miles area, the final approach to Auckland, that we cannot go in speed more than 10 knots. Okay, so all this they are marked in the charts, and they are as well developed and planned in the voyage plan. So, and now we go to the execution. Execution starts 1 hour before we start the trip. 1 hour before we start the trip, the bridge team and the engine team, they are going to check that we meet all our equipment is working properly. Half an hour before, the captain will meet with the whole bridge team, and we are going to discuss the maneuver of the departure. So we will analyze the data, the information in regards to weather, in regards to stability, current, traffic, and the captain, based on severity of the maneuver, might assign one of his officers for training purposes to do the departure. Always by maintaining the responsibility to the captain. And we're going to review the voyage all the way to the pilot station of the arriving port. Half an hour before the arrival to the arriving port, the bridge team will meet again. We're going to analyze the updated weather conditions, traffic and data for arrival. We're going to do the maneuver, and then again, captain, based to the challenge and the difficulty of the port, he might decide one of his officers to do the docking. All right? All right. I told you earlier that we are operating in the bridge with traffic light system. There are three pillars defining which condition we are operating. Is the visibility, is the distance from the land, and is the traffic. What condition you think we are operating now?
Green.
Green, I'm here. Okay? I'm here, it's green. Alright, so we're in a very open seas, the weather is perfect, great visibility, very limited to non-traffic, green condition. This means 3 persons in the bridge. If one of these 3 will get to restrict it, captain will be informed and he can decide who from the 3 senior officers, captain, staff captain, or safety, will be assigned to the bridge team. Let me give you an example that is not part of these 3 conditions. When we had a very bad weather wind in the night from Christchurch to Napier, at 3 o'clock the wind went up to 65 knots. All right? I have set up myself to my team in my handover notes that guys, more than 35, you are going to call me. Okay. So 35, the team called me, I moved to the bridge, and I was there from the moment that the wind went from 35 all the way to 65, all the way to the time that the wind went down to 35. I changed the condition to yellow. It was not any of these 3 pillars. So captain has as well the ability to decide to change the condition for different type of circumstances. All right? You should know as well that even if it's a green condition, the moment that I step my foot in the bridge, the responsibility, the navigation command pass directly to me. So even if I go the morning to make my morning announcement, to have my morning coffee with the team, the responsibility is passing directly to myself, because the person in the bridge is the person representing the captain when he's not there. This is the definition of officer on watch. Is the person in charge of the navigation of the ship when the captain is not there. So any time that I am there, even if it is, as I said, for announcement, even if it is for my coffee, etc., the responsibility falls to myself and is recorded automatically to the logbook. Okay? Okay. Integrated bridge system called NACOS. I told you we don't have paper chart. So DGPS, Differential Global Position System. Do you know the difference between DGPS and GPS?
No.
It's the accuracy. So GPS in very north or very south latitudes, it might give you an error up to 50 meters. DGPS is giving you an error up to 5 meters.
Oh.
The reason is because it takes the position, sending it out to a coastal station and comes back to the ship corrected. Okay? Echo sounder, we have 2 sensors, one at the very front and one at the very back of the ship, that they are facing down and they are providing us with the under-keel clearance. We are obliged, as per company's policy, to go in any time in less than 2 meters under-keel clearance. Less than 2 meters under-keel clearance means that we cannot go anywhere less than 10.5 meters depth, because our vessel is 8.5 meters deep, 26 feet, so we cannot go anywhere with less than 2 meters under keel clearance. Okay? Multi-pilot, autopilot, engine controls, VHF radios, gyro compasses, magnetic compass, weather stations, automated identification system. AIS is pretty much taking the data, all the information in regards to the name of the ship, what is the destination, etc., etc. So the information that you have in your app in regards to the marine traffic is taking it from the AIS. Many people are asking me, Captain, so this is our electronic chart, and this is how the bridge wing looks like. So people are asking, Captain, okay, I understand you are paperless. What about if you lose the electronic chart? So, first of all, in order a ship to be approved to be paperless, it needs to have two systems that they are completely independent, connected to different emergency batteries. Celebrity Edge has 12. 12 independent systems connected to different generators. So if I lose the first one, I have the second one. If I lose the second one, I have the third one. If I lose the 11th one, I have the 12th one. If I lose the 12th, we all pray. If I lose the 12th, I will show you what we do up here. So, bridge wing. Whatever system you see here is exactly in the center console as well, except the wheel. Don't think anymore these big wheels, like a small Ferrari wheel. Okay, so information in the chart, we have the underwater clearance, wind, the speed that we make, all this kind of information. We are obliged, according to company's policy, 2 times per day minimum to double check and verify the position of the GPS that is accurate. So whenever we are close to land, this can be done by coastal navigation. Coastal navigation means we are going to actually taking the picture of the radar with a landmark, with a gyro compass repeater, we are going to check the bearing of this landmark, and we will verify with our position that actually, yes, this is the GPS position is matching with the coastal, with the bearing, with the observation. In addition to that, if we lose everything, yes, believe it or not, we have sextants on board. Dusty, but we have. Okay? So, actually, I have to say that they are not dusty because we are using them. All right, especially these days that they have been great days with a very nice visibility of the moon, of the sun, of stars. It gave us a great opportunity to even coach our petite officers by doing constantly observations on every watch. All right. We cannot do the observation with the sextant from the bridge because it's a closed bridge. So we are sending the person actually to the very top, to the deck 16, and they do the observation. We mark the time exactly, the observation taken, and then we do the calculation. Coming to that, tonight is a very big night. So weather permitted, I can tell you that we are going to have magical views of the Southern Cross tonight and tomorrow night. All right, the weather looks as going to be very clear, and we expect them to be very visible. So, what is the Southern Cross, first of all? Southern Cross is called, the different name is the Crux constellation. The Crux constellation, we are going to be able to see it tonight, and in order to prepare an appropriate place, dark, where we'll give you the option to enjoy it, because people sometimes, some of you, you asked me before, Captain, why is it not dark and we cannot see? You understand that the switching off lights in the open deck can create a risk of injuries, all right? But tonight, from 11 o'clock, from 10:30 until 1 a.m., we will prepare a specific area where we will switch off the lights that will give you the ability to be able to see the Southern Cross if you will be around. So, by standing on the ramp on deck 16, on the port side, facing, so if it's here the ramp, you will be facing a little bit backwards, all right? On the top, you will be able to see the Southern Cross. The Southern Cross is pretty much 4 different stars, all right? This is the constellation of the Crux constellation. So tonight and tomorrow night, you should be able to see it because the weather looks perfect, and at 12 a.m. it will be in the highest, best place, the constellation. Okay? Okay. This is how it will be from deck 15 as well, you know, in the ramp and everything, but because it's a lot of light with the rooftop and the funnel, it's not going to be ideal area. The best area will be the jogging track on deck 15 to deck 16, where we will switch off all the lights. Okay? And we go to the monitoring. Now, before I will talk to you about the weather, and we will explain you a little bit about the weather conditions as well that took us the decision to skip Wellington, let me tell you another thing about monitoring. I told you how we plan a voyage. Now, Any time that for a reason we need to deviate, I don't just turn the ship position and we go. All right? There is a process that needs to be done. The process is because according to the company's policy, I am not allowed to move more than 2 miles from my original course without to give a notification to the office and without to prepare a new voyage plan. So let me give you a nice example. There is quite a few of our Australian guests here, yes? Any Australians in the house? Yes. Very nice. So some of our Australian guests, they have some friends in Newcastle, that is a little bit north of Sydney. Because they know how positive guy I am, they are coming and say, Captain, listen, we have some relatives in Newcastle. It's all right. But they don't believe that we are cruising on the beautiful celebrity edge. Okay? Is it okay if we go closer to Newcastle so we can press the horn and wave to them? Myself, because I'm a very positive guy, I will say, of course, let's go. And we change a few degrees our course to north, and we are proceeding towards Newcastle. The moment that we reach more than 2 miles off course, an alarm will go. First of all, the Miami office has a screen like this with all the ships and the tracks that they are supposed to follow and where they are live. But in addition to that, this system is connected to the phones and to the computers of our bosses. So the moment we reach this position, an alarm will go to my boss. So he's going to call me. Hey, Captain Matt, good morning. Good morning. How are you? Excellent. Where are you? We are on the way to Sydney, very nice weather, but we are going to say some hello to some relatives in Newcastle. Oh, great, thank you. Tomorrow morning, another captain will be waiting. So that's why you don't ask me this type of favor. Okay. So and now we go to severe weather conditions. What is this that can make us decide to change weather? First of all, I believe you were here in the theater the first night of the cruise. As Matt, I have made a promise to myself that always, but always, no matter what, I will make sure that I provide my guests and my crew with a wonderful experience and not an adventure. Period. All right? So, 2 days before the sailing from Napier, from Christchurch to Wellington, I start seeing the weather conditions because the challenge with these places here, because we're very close to Antarctica, is that there is a lot of systems that they are getting born and they can change the weather conditions drastically. All right? Because from New Zealand to Antarctica, we are 900 miles away. So a system that is traveling with 50 knots, it will take less than a day to arrive from Antarctica to New Zealand. All right? So I have seen a system that was developing and was coming to New Zealand, but I was not sure yet what is the force that's going to arrive and what are the final conditions, and it will allow us to continue providing you with an experience and not an adventure. Right? I sent my alert when I sent my alert to the office. I involve we have a meteorological team in Miami office led by our chief meteorologist, Mr. Craig Sedger, and I share with them my concerns. We went into a meeting where I told them what I believe. Everybody is making their own comment and they are saying their own thoughts. If a meteorologist will make his own statement as well, and then we come all in a decision. But sometimes the decision is not aligned between the captain and everybody else. The point is that the captain is the one that he will take the blame or the credit at the end. So at the end, the decision falls to the captain. Now, what conditions we were supposed to face and what we faced? So, Christchurch to Wellington. This is the ship where was going to be at 12 o'clock, where we were actually on that position at 12 o'clock, because this is the same way going to Napier, and we were experiencing winds up to 40 knots. Now you can see inside here, this is a low system that we went through that was going to bother us anyway, and this here is another system that is coming and is very strong. You see this?
Yeah.
Whatever you see in light blue means more than 80 knots winds. Okay, so this is how was the wind in, this is the real winds at 4 a.m. How was the wind if we were going to continue to Wellington? Up to 75 knots winds and heavy rain. 6 a.m., the time that was supposed to pick up pilot was 60 knots winds, heavy rain. During our stay, winds up to 60 knots and heavy rain. I told you earlier that the threshold of every board is about 30 knots. So sometimes the captain can sign and say, you know what, no, I can go. And if you tell me, Captain, would you go? I will never go with 60 knots winds. I will never go because, first of all, I don't see a reason to put anybody in a risk. All right? Number two, as I told you, it was a very heavy, rainy day. 3 weeks ago, we were expecting 35 to 40 knots winds in Wellington, but at the same time, a very sunny day, because Wellington is called Windington, because it's always windy. All right? So, I went with 35, 40 knots 3 weeks ago, but it was a sunny day. So it was a day that you could go as well out to enjoy. Now to go on Wellington, to put ourselves in a risk. At the same time, all this weather, the rough seas, because we don't face any rough seas ourselves, and I will explain you why. The wind was north, so the moment that I was going to turn here, all this 65, 70 knots wind was going to come in the side of the ship together with the waves. So the ship was going to roll a lot. And if the port, when I was arriving, was going to say we are closed, I would have to make a turn and go through again, and roll again and make it to Napier the next day. So sometimes we take the decision in advance by looking what are the circumstances that we can face if the port is closed. And the port was closed at 6 a.m. All right, the port of Wellington opened first time for cargo ships at 11 a.m. in the morning. That we wouldn't be able to wait until 11 a.m. to go in. Okay, so this is the track that we follow, that we were supposed to follow. Now, what we did though? We left from here with full speed in order to go away from this system the soonest possible. As well, you can see the course is aimed on a way that the wind is constantly on our port bow. Why is on our port bow? Number one, because if we have it face completely, is bumping a lot the ship by hitting the wind and the waves. By having it on one side of the bow, you have limited impact because the ship is not listing, because it doesn't take the whole wind on the side, and the waves, they travel easily from one side to the other. So the vessel is faced from 3 to 6:30 in the morning up to 65 knots winds. But we didn't really experience anything because we had arranged as well to arrive there at 3 o'clock night time in order to be able to go through when you are in your rooms resting. All right? After that, and at 8 a.m., we were already outside of the front. Then we slowed down to 10 knots because it was the speed that we needed after to be next morning in Napier. Now you can say, Captain, why would I go in Napier the previous day? Because the earliest that we could go to Napier, to arrive in Napier, was going to be 8 o'clock in the evening. That doesn't make any sense to take you at 8 o'clock in the evening because Napier has nothing to offer after 5 p.m. in the evening. And it was not going to be available buses, it was not, all the places are closed by 8 p.m., so it was not going to give you anything. And at the same time, we were going to have a lot of limitations on operating systems to the ship because of being in a port. Okay, so, and there was 15 knots winds, and then clear the skies, and finally we arrived in Napier the next day. It was a beautiful and sunny day in Napier. So this was the reason of deciding not to go to Wellington and actually going to Napier. In addition, you should know, cancelling a port last minute, we pay all the port fees that we were supposed to. We pay 40% of the cancellation to the tour operators that who have booked for you this time. So keep in mind that it was 1,000 people in tours scheduled that day. We pay fuel for an extra sea day, but we don't care. because, as I told you, the most important thing for us is your safety. All right? All right. And now we are moving to the construction of the beautiful edge. So, when I went to first of all, let me tell you quickly the story. So, I was in Equinox that time. And I was an afternoon, it was evening, I was in the gym doing my workout, and my phone rings outside line. Who is it now outside line this time? Because Miami office is closed that time. And answering, it was my boss in the phone. How is going? Good. Are you busy? Can you talk? I said, no, I'm not busy, I can tell you, but I don't want to tell you where I am. So he says, okay, listen, you need to pack, you are leaving in 3 days. What I did wrong, I have 2.5 months ahead of me. He says, actually, nothing is wrong. You have been the chosen one to move to France for the next 2.5 years to be the person in charge of the building of the edge.
Wow.
You understand that it was one position out of 24 people that they were going to be chosen, so it was a very big thing for me, and I was extremely happy that I made it. And I went back home, excited, I packed my stuff, and I arrived to Saint-Nazaire. Saint-Nazaire is in the west coast of France. The day that I arrived, they gave my office, and there's a very big window in my office, facing the shipyard, facing the dock. The dock was empty. I was like, where is the ship? I told them the ship is under construction. So they told me that in 2 months' time will come and will arrive the first block. So this is the one at the bottom was the first block of the ship. Now, you can see here, and this is the reason that I have this picture here. You can see here different type of machinery. This is actually the crew galley, all right? So everything is inside when the block comes in, because there is no any way that after that you can place it in. So how the system works? We are ordering the systems on different places, all right? So we say piece number 1, Lithuania factory. Piece number 2, Poland. Piece number 3, Italy. Piece number 4, Greece. Piece number 5, France. And everybody has a time frame. And they say piece number 1 should be in Saint-Nazaire between week 10 to week 12. Piece number 2, Poland, 13, 15. Piece number 5, Greece, week 20 to 27. We give them more because we never make it on time. And we are putting the things in place. Whenever they come and they sit down, there is 2 centimeters distance from the one block to the other, where we do the welding, and then we just connect the pipe. So it's everything in, and we do plug and play. From the moment that the first piece goes on, all the way to the time that actually we have the whole ship constructed, it takes approximately 12 months. This is the time that we can start now having water, can have the ship seaworthy. So these are the pieces arriving. Here you can see the bow and the bow. Now, this is a very important thing to mention is the bow. I told you earlier that Celebrity Edge changed the philosophy not only for Celebrity Cruises, but in general for new build constructions of the companies. I believe you have realized the different shape of our bow towards the traditional ships. Mm-hmm. But I want you now to look this bow and think of Titanic. Pretty much we went back to that era, but with a lot of study and a lot of development in between. So, what is the case now here? This bow is called ultra parabolic bow. The bow is a very heavy steel bow that is actually cutting the waves easier, smoother. This means that we reduce the friction of the ship, and we are reducing the external factors when we are requesting power. In addition to that, you should know Celebrity Edge has been the first ship ever built that has 100% hull supporting the air lubricating system. What is the ALS, air lubricating system? All the hull of the ship has holes. They have holes that they are creating based to the motor's droplets, air pressure. The air pressure creates a blanket under the hull. So when the ship is at sea, we are having a blanket under, so the vessel is sliding to the blanket, minimizing again the friction of the vessel as it's moving. So the bow together with the air lubricating system makes the vessel to have an amazing sustainability. Now, same cruise of Celebrity Solstice, same power, same speed required, same voyage. With Celebrity Edge, we have managed to achieve up to 20% less fuel consumption.
Gosh.
That you understand is huge.
Wow.
In addition to that, the ship is extremely steady. I don't know if you have noticed that, but the vessel is extremely steady. All right. These two, they have made this design to be a game changer in the cruise industry. Any ship's order after the Edge started sailing, from all the big companies on the cruise industry, they are coming with this bow. Okay? And if you check in the Google, you will realize what I'm telling you. All right? So, this is the ultra parabolic bow. Here is the bow from the front. This is the time that we took out the ship for the final painting. This is again some work in progress on the bow in the last stage. This is when the bridge arrived, important, yes, the wheelhouse arrived, we needed that. This is the azipod, and when it was arriving to the place, you can see how huge the propeller is. The propeller has a diameter of 5.8 meters, all right? So 18 feet is the propeller. This is how the propeller is under. We have two of them. This is the funnel waiting to go in place. Stabilizers, we have two stabilizers. They are located in the midship of the vessel, about 5 meters below the water level, 5.8 meters wide, long each. They make opposite movements to keep the ship steady. People are asking, Captain, are you using them or is fuel consuming? No, they are not fuel consuming, and I'm using them at all times. Because by having the vessel running smoothly, I use less power than if the vessel is rolling, all right? So the philosophy of stabilizers, they are actually are not operated because we save energy is not true, okay? The vessel, if it's running smoothly, is actually saving fuel, okay? Okay. Again, stabilizer housed, the azipod getting ready, some last work in the azipods, and this is the azipods ready to sail with the propellers polished. Our motto, always eternal vigilance is the price of safety. This is the motto that the company stands since 1988. There is nothing more important to the ship than your safety and everybody else's safety. And this is what has made Celebrity Cruise big, because everybody that comes on board, they feel safe from the day one. All right? All right. Now, I have prepared a very nice video that actually I have to tell you, okay, this is my second season in the Australia with the Edge. It has been a fantastic season. This is my last actually days on board because I'm signing off to go to my well-deserved vacation after 5 months on board. You should know that normally we stay 3. So I was a little stretched, but I have done a lot of sounds. This was the best views that I faced on sounds, and the reason was because, you remember I told you we delayed the arrival. Delayed the arrival because 8 o'clock we wouldn't make it to go in, first of all. Second thing is, was a very heavy rain happening 2 hours before. What created the heavy rain is all these magical waterfalls running at all times in places that I haven't seen in the previous times that we were visiting. In addition to that, these clouds, you will see how magical scenery they create on a time-lapse video. In case you are actually using social media, I will upload this video after the completion of the presentation, so you can have the ability to show it to your friends. So, sound is on, hopefully. I believe that definitely was a very nice experience to see, and the weather was really very nice, and the temperatures they were very nice. So I hope that you enjoyed this. It's always one of the most important things on these cruises to do, to make it to the sounds. And we made it to all the sounds, and in a great time. So it's good. And now, who am I? So I told you earlier who am I, but let me tell you, I'm 44 years old. I actually last week I celebrated 25 years in the company, so I started the company when I was like this, back in 2000, young with long hair and stuff like this, you know. So I have 3 beautiful kids. I will show you pictures later. So first picture on the left is in the first sea trials of the Celebrity Edge on June of 2018. It's the time that we went out to see what we built can actually float. Okay? Second picture on the right is on the arrival to the Port Everglades on November of 2018 for the naming ceremony of the ship and the naming ceremony of Terminal 25. Actually, the lady in the middle is the previous CEO of the company, Elizabeth of Perlo, and the gentleman on the left, for you that you are staying, is actually the captain that is going to replace me, is Captain Costas, that we were together on the startup of the Celebrity Edge. He's a wonderful gentleman, and I'm sure you will have a great time. The picture on the left is my first announcement as a captain on August 19 of 2019 on board the Celebrity Summit. Now on the right side you can see my 2 wonderful sons. So the guy with the blue vest is my older son, Matthew Jr., he's 18. And the guy with the pink vest, actually I have to say that I'm very happy because he's in the national team of Czech Republic in diving, and today he won the gold medal in the national games. So he's JJ, and he's actually he would like to become a captain. Okay? And this is my wonderful wife Eva, and my little girl Valentina. Valentina is 2, she's a wonderful kid, she cannot wait for daddy to go home. And these are my wonderful parents. You know, we always say that we always need to remember where we are coming from. And for me, this is the most important picture, all right? Because this is the people that I own most on what I have achieved in my life. Now, this picture is a very special picture for me, and I will explain you why. This picture is on Celebrity Edge, taken on June 13 of 2019. All right? Now, let me tell you the story behind this picture. My father was seaman, right? For many years in the ships. Actually, I'm coming from a family that they were all seamen. Engineers, electricians, AC engineers, but nobody made it to go for captain. So when I decided to do that, I was the black sheep of the family. But after I came to the company and I started growing up, my father actually, I was asking my parents to come to cruise. My father, he had set up his expectations. He said, I will cruise with you only when you will become a captain. So he put the pressure on me. I have to say that I have been very lucky that I have done all my steps very fast. So I grew up in the company very fast, and I am one of the youngest captains ever assigned to Celebrity Cruises. So I did my steps fast, but still, I was pushing my parents to come to cruise with me because they were younger as well. My father was saying clearly no. My mother was following the father's instructions. She was not coming as well. That time then we received the ship, and it was a lot of rumors because of the success of the startup that my time is not far away. So I started pushing my parents because the ship was sailing around the very beautiful country of Greece at that time. Okay, now that we are coming around, come to the ship, you will have a great time, you don't have to fly with the plane. It's my birthday cruise as well because June 13 is the day of my birthday. You should come to cruise with me. My father didn't want to hear. Finally, with a lot of pressure from myself, from my mother, I convinced him and he made it to come. So he came on the cruise. So June 13 in the afternoon, I was in the bridge and we were in Anchorage in Santorini when my boss called me. I see my boss, I think that he's calling me to tell me happy birthday. So actually he did call me to tell me happy birthday, but at the same time he told me that the birthday present of Celebrity Cruises to you is that you are getting promoted to captain. Oh. So it was very nice because it happened with my parents on it. So this picture is that night when we went to dinner and then I announced it to them and they were very happy that they were part of it. For me it's a very special picture because my father didn't make it to come to sail with me as a captain. Because he passed away a little bit later. So at least I know that I have been very happy because I would be very upset if he was not having the chance to experience myself being on board. Now my mother, losing her grog for 50 years, she thought by the time that my father left that her life is done. So we start, myself with my brother, start convincing her to come out of the house. She didn't want to hear that. So a couple of years ago, I was sailing with Celebrity Reflection around the very beautiful country of Greece. So I started asking my mother, I said, listen, come with me for a cruise. She didn't want. Forget it, I'm not for cruise, I cannot go alone. I said, you will not be alone, you will be with your son, we'll have a great time. She didn't want. So then, I used the magical word. I said, okay, mom, what about if you come to babysit Valentina? The next thing that she asked me is, when am I leaving? Of course, I tricked her because Valentina was not 6 months yet, so she was not allowed to come on board yet. So I brought her 3 weeks before. She came with me, we had a great time, and then 3 weeks more she stayed with the little one on board as well. So it was great for her to understand that we cannot turn the clock back. Life has to move on, and you need to enjoy the moments, precious moments with your family. So these are my parents, and this is my story. I believe you understand that I have nothing to hide. So there is 2 wonderful people, Mr. Bradley and Sim in the sides that they will come with microphones. You put your hand up and you can ask any questions you might have. All right? Thank you very much for attending the presentation. Thank you. Who is going to start? Always the brave one, the first one. Yes.
Hi, Captain, and thank you so much. I was speaking with a New Zealander the other day, and they were talking about the cruise ships going into the sounds, and I think particularly it was doubtful sound where the fresh water is sitting on top of the seawater. And they said there was some concern from the environmentalists that the stirring up by the propellers is changing the levels of the water. Is there any truth to that?
Changing the levels of
No.
Wow.
Any New Zealanders in the house? All right, so, very nice. So, I have to start first of all by saying that New Zealand is one of the most magical countries I have ever visited, with amazing nature, beautiful places, and wonderful culture in regards to cleanliness, taking care of the country, and etc. It has been very challenging for us sailing around New Zealand because of rules that they are built for ships built on 1980s and not on 2020. I can tell you that not only our ship, but in general the ships built after 2015 especially, there are ships that they are equipped and built in regards to environmental standards with technology of 2030 and not of 2020. So we are above and beyond all the environmental regulations. At the same time, unfortunately, in every country, not only New Zealand, there is about 10 people. This is how many you need, 10. Right? I don't know if you were donating, there were 10 people, the ones that they were complaining. Without to realize what kind of impact they are creating to their country and to their place. All right? You should know that New Zealand, this year towards last year, has a 30% drop of cruise ships visiting because of these 10 people. And the way that they continue, if they will not change, it will create an impact to ships not coming, because the risk of ships when they are coming and they have to turn 180 degrees and go back is not ideal for the companies, because they are the companies, they are in stock market, they are selling these cruises, and anything that comes out, people, they are shooting the cruise line and they don't question what was the reason behind it, right? So I can tell you we meet all the environmental criteria. Of course, we are always facing questions and challenges, but we are fine with it. It is not creating any impact. I will tell you something very simple. Our vessel has the equipment that is approved to do any type of discharges by having our advanced waste system on inside Alaska. So inside Alaska, docked, the vessel can discharge treated gray and black water. So you can understand what type of systems we have. We don't do, of course, we don't do anything. Marpol says 4 miles. Our company says 12 miles. So we are much above and beyond any kind of expectations and standards. But as I said, New Zealand, there have been 10. In Greece, there have been 10 more. In Greece, they put the pillars for a berth to make a huge terminal in Port of Piraeus that can accommodate many ships for a embarkation port, for turnaround port, and 10 cities, as they complain, that if this will be built with the big ships, they will lose the sunrise. And they stop it. So it's all about 10, all right? But we know how to fight with this 10, and we are moving forward, all right? All right. Next question. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for a great presentation.
Thank you, sir.
At what point does the conceptual design and the architectural design actually begin before construction? How many years prior to the actual construction?
The moment that we think, it's about 5 years before the ship is ready. So it's about 3 years before the first block arrives that we have finished, not we started, we have finished with the naval architect, we have finished with the studies, and we are proceeding to submit to our classification society and to the appropriate coast guards the space for approvals. So it takes 3 years time from the moment we provide them with a plan all the way to the moment that we can actually have the first block in place. Okay? Yes?
Thank you, Captain Matt, for that presentation. I come from the beautiful country of Australia.
Oh, very nice.
My interest is in the staffing of the ship. You've talked a little bit about the leadership, but I think I, like everyone else, have benefited from the customer service like nothing else we've experienced. Just tell us a little bit more about how many staff it takes to run the Celebrity and what their route is to becoming part of the team.
Very nice. So we have on board 1,310 crew members. All right. This is the par level as well of the ship. All right. We have the hiring process is a very different thing. Towards from the moment you are applying and you are hired, it doesn't mean that you will come to work to the ship, because then there is a lot of training that you have to go before you actually make it to the ship. And I want here to emphasize something that maybe many times we don't realize. You should know that every week, every cruise, we are changing about 10% of our crew. So we're changing up between 80 to 150 people every Sydney. The people that they are coming in, they go on uniform and they go to work. Some of them, they have been in the ships before, some of them, they never been. But our expectations, your expectations and our standards require that the moment they go in, they have to be ready. So it's a very dynamic environment. what we try to do ourselves as a management on this ship, and this is pretty much the philosophy, but we try to go above, is to make sure that the crew, they feel the care and the respect from the people on the top of the leadership team, all right? And I think you have realized, you should know that the Celebrity Edge crew, they have been the friendliest crew in the cruise industry the last 3 months by scoring 97% of the guests. So it's very important that the crew, they see it, and it's very good for us, make us feel that the way that we manage and we lead, we are actually people they are appreciating. Okay? So hiring process, we have hiring departments all over the world. We have hiring times that we go and we visit places and we are going directly. And then from this moment, it takes about 3 to 6 months time for the person to be ready to join a ship. Okay? All right. Yes? Yes, sir.
Do you know how many nationalities there are now in the ship between the crew and the passengers?
Yes. So we have 74 different nationalities of crew and 38 different nationalities of guests. This is very interesting, yes. So, okay, from our crew, I can tell you that it's required all of us to speak English. All right? So, all 74. From the guest point of view, it's not required all of them. It's true, but the ship is built for operating in English language. All right? Always we try to find, for sure we find a crew that is able to speak the language, and we try to assign to be closer to that, especially on a restaurant and housekeeping, that can be able to make the guests feel more comfortable. But entertainment, for example, is all built for English-speaking guests. Yeah, and this is somewhere where we are facing sometimes challenges. All right, all right. Yes, Bradley.
Miss Rhonda here is asking. She's from the beautiful country of Australia.
Very good.
She's asking, how much does it cost to build the Celebrity Edge?
Celebrity Edge, you should know, that has been the most expensive ship ever built in the cruise industry. It cost $1 billion. Now, the Icon that cost $1.4 billion, it is accommodating 4,500 guests more than the Edge. So the ratio for the expense, how expensive the ship is, goes based to what is the capacity. So the Edge has been the most expensive vessel ever built in the industry. Edge has for double occupancy passengers 2,890. And we have this cruise 2,886. So we are 100% full. Yes. Yes, I.
G'day, Captain. Todd from Australia. Just a question. You've seen the ship built, you've sailed on the ship. If you had a blank canvas now, what would you do different?
If I want to change something, I have to say nothing. All right? I have been very happy with this ship. Okay, and I have been in all the ship's classes. All right? First of all, what I love about the Celebrity class ships is that we have 3 completely different classes. So we maintain the service and quality standards as a company policy, but then you can go and you can find different things on these 3 places. So I believe Celebrity Edge has been built in a very good way for our guests to feel great. Even if we have 3,000 people on board, especially on a days like this where the sun is out and people they can utilize the open decks, you don't feel that we have 3,000 people on board. And it's spread nicely between the restaurants and the theater and the bars during the evening time. So I believe that is a very nicely well designed and built ship. I don't know, do you agree? Yes. Now, I will have to mention as well, because I believe that I can hear somebody sticking to ask about the Infinity Veranda. Yes? Okay, very good. So, on Infinity Veranda is either you like it or you don't. All right? Now, I have to say, for ship sailing in this particular run, people, they should love it. Because we are taking away the weather factor. You are able, first of all, to have a room that is longer because the balcony is part of your room. Alright? And then even if it's raining, even if it's windy, you are able to enjoy from your room the views that the ship has to offer. Alright? So in addition to that, you should know that is another great factor that makes the vessel being so stabilized, steady. The reason is because when the wind comes, due to the infinity veranda, it doesn't have the place. Normally when the balconies, the wind creates pockets, because it stays in the balconies, and creates a bubble, so the vessel is moving a lot. Here now what happens, the wind hits a wall and leaves, so it doesn't have the power to create the pockets. Alright, so infinity veranda, I find it a very great tool. Sometimes people say, Captain, why did you lock my windows? You were upset. We don't lock the windows because the captain woke up the morning in a bad mood. All right? The windows are locked for specific reasons. The windows, they were locked because you had 70 knots winds, and you understand it's a part of your room. So if you had it the night open, the wind will blow you away and can create an injury, can create some damages. Or when we are washing, we don't want to provide you with a free bath. So we have automatic remote controlled baskets that they are doing the washing of the windows. So if we have your room open, we provide you with a very different type of shower. All right? That's why. Okay? Okay. Yes, Bradley?
Good morning, Captain. My name's Kevin. I'm from the UK. I'm here with my wife from the USA, but that's another story. I'd like to say thank you for your presentation this morning. It was very informative and very funny, as always. And also, I very look forward to going to the sunny island of Greece at some point. My question is very simple. I very much enjoyed the amenities on the ship, especially the gym and the walking track. We just miss pickleball. Is there any reason why you didn't put a pickleball court?
Very nice. Actually, pickleball has been developed a lot after 2018. It's a new era developed. So we have already one ship that we have put pickleball. So I think it's because of the itinerary that we sail mostly to colder places, Alaska and New Zealand. That's why we haven't put it yet. But in our H-class ships, in the other ships on Apex, for example, is now out of UK, it has been in place a pickable area on the ship. So it is something that they are developing. All right? Okay, very good. Yes.
Thank you, Captain. Fresh water. How much fresh water do you produce? How do you produce it? And I guess I should not ask this question, do you ever run out?
Very good. So no, of course we never run out, all right? Now, fresh water, we are able to produce 80 tons of water per hour through reverse osmosis. So we salinate water, yes? So we produce 80 tons per hour. The time that we can, in a maximum, we consume about 35 tons per hour. So when the ship is at sea, it allows us to produce water enough to accommodate as well the times that we are in port. If sometimes, for any reason, maybe for a service of one of the osmosis or for extended time in a port, we can take as well water from outside, from the port. We take it, we keep it for 1 day, we test it, we chlorinate it according to our pH, and then we give it in consumption. All right? You should know as well here that the vessel is hybrid. So the vessel has the ability to actually be in a port and plug in outside. All right? And this is something else in regards to the environmental. All right? So as I said, the vessels are built with technology of 2030. So, for example, in North Europe and now in a few ports in Alaska, when we will be arriving, we'll be switching off the engines, we'll be plugging in, and we'll be providing electricity and services of the ship in port via shoreside power. All right? It's not cheaper than having an engine running. Let me give you an example. I was on the Silhouette last summer. We were in Stockholm, we plugged in. A normal day in Stockholm in regards to our fuel costs us about $10,000. Plugging in is 60,000 euro. But we don't care because we support the green planet, so there is no issue for us to pay for providing this system. The point is that the world is not ready yet with this type of amenities. All right? All right. Someone else? Yes, Mr. Bradley.
Yes, hi, my name is Janelle, and I'm from Nova Scotia, Canada.
Oh, very nice. I love Nova Scotia. Halifax and Sydney, they're very nice.
Very good. So my question then is actually how you explained about how the company makes plans for cruises well in advance. What kind of decision has to be made based on where the cruise would start from? So the port of call where it would start from, as opposed to just being a destination.
Yep.
And specifically, I guess, wondering if there's any ever talk of Halifax as being a starting port, for example.
Very nice. No, Halifax, I think that is going to be very difficult. That will be a starting point because we don't check only the Halifax has fantastic cruise terminal. The point is that we have to check all the access from all over the world, convenient access to go to fly to Halifax, because it's all about airport, accommodations that we can provide the people the days before, and so it's a combination of things that they make a decision. Because we try normally to find well-known international ports, based international ports, you know, in order to minimize the hours of traveling of people and their convenience. So that's why. But as a port, as I said, I have been, it has fantastic cruise terminal that meets all our criteria to run cruises from there. The point is as well is then we are evaluating the weather conditions. Because Nova Scotia is an area where the weather can change drastically. And by changing drastically, for us, we cannot allow ourselves to cancel the turnaround port. So we are aiming on ports where it's a huge possibility. The possibilities are more for us to make it than not to make it. All right? All right. So it's a lot of data that the companies outside they're evaluating constantly before they come in decisions. Okay? All right. Yes?
Hello, Captain, and thank you for the presentation.
I have the same t-shirt, by the way. I have the same t-shirt.
My name's Peter from England and the UK. So my question is a Greek question for you. So my daughter gets married later on this year on the beautiful island of Ios in Greece, where I believe your mother's from. So the question is, can you explain in simple terms Archimedes' principle and how it affects the shape? By the way, your mother's invited to the wedding.
Very nice, thank you very much. So Archimedes' principle, Archimedes was the one that he created stability, right? He made the first stability calculations. So of course we have changed a lot since then. The reason is because according to Archimedes' principles, based to the height of the item to float, we need to have 1/3 of the height to be below the sea surface. So you understand that in our days, this ship is 58 meters from the water line to the top. This means that we should have around 19 meters below the sea surface. We wouldn't fit anywhere. So what the new naval architect study has done is that actually we compensated the height with weight. So the vessels are very wide and all the permanent weights of the ship are below the waterline. So ballast water, fuel, stores, fresh water, everything is below the waterline. This compensates the height with weight and keeps the vessel stabilized. All right? And I can tell you that you will have an amazing time in Ios Island because it's a very beautiful island and you will experience the noise of a Greek wedding. Yes? Yes, sir.
Hello, Captain. I have two quick questions. One, most of the cruise I've seen, they have a lot of activity facility at the top, like water slide or artificial saving or mountain climbing, something like that. I'm just curious why this ship does not have that. The second question was, I think many people are very interested in behind the scene, how you prepare the show, or make the show something like your successful. I think,
Prepare what? Sorry, I cannot hear you. You have the microphone a little bit lower. I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know you heard my first question.
The first question I heard it, yes.
The second question was, a lot of people are very interested in the behind the scene, like how you prepare the show, how the show, also how you operate the entire cruise operation. So I was wondering if you consider to offer that.
Okay, so for the first question, our ships, we don't, and my son is asking me the same question, why that we don't have a slide. So we don't build ships with slides. We are mostly a type of adult clientele, but at the same time, we have great program for kids, that it has to do with kids actually creating things and not just going and jumping on a slide. So we have a wonderful youth team and a youth program that we involve the kids in groups and we make them actually play as we used to play in the past by having a buddy next to it and enjoying the time. All right, this is the first part. The second part, we are offering this behind the scenes tours where you can be able to visit. You have to check with the shore excursion team about it. Okay? All right. Yes.
Hi, I just wanted to ask about anchoring in the Bay of Islands because we are in the forward of the ship on the port side and
you heard it. You woke up, no?
We heard noises and I was like, this is terrifying, but it's also exciting.
Yes, it is very exciting and it's not terrifying. So yes, when we are arriving in a port, we have two different ways of keeping the ship steady. One is by the anchor and the other is by the dynamic position. So if we have bad weather conditions, we are going to use the dynamic positioning. That means that we are going to use the ship's power to make sure that it keeps the vessel in the appropriate position. In weather like yesterday, we are actually going to operate the anchor. Now the anchor, you should know that is 250 meters chain. The body by itself is 15 tons weight. So the time that drops, the chain makes very big noise. Okay, so you were lucky enough to experience it. So yes, and we drop the anchor, we drop by about 170 meters of chain in the water, even if it's very light, because this gives us enough space, the vessel to be able to turn around at all times by maintaining the position, by keeping it safely. Okay, all right. Next, yes sir.
Yes, Captain, thank you very much for taking the time with us. What I'd like to know is that what is the economic impact on some of the ports of call, and are the cruise ships catered to some of these places? Because I noticed that we had, maybe Napier, we increased the population by about 2 or 3%. So it was a fairly big impact.
Very nice. So yes, first of all, a study indicates that in a normal port, like in a normal port of call, average a day visit leaves between $15 to $30 a day per person. So if we go 5,000 people by $30, $150,000. Okay, but this is just from the guest point of view. Then we're talking about the port fees involving buses, tour operators, stuff like this, that they are as well providing you with an additional income. In a turnaround port, average is between $120 to $200. Turnaround port, I mean the embarkation port, because it involves airlines, buses, hotels, restaurants, etc., etc. So there is an impact, and especially when we visit places like Napier, that the tourism is very low to go somebody to properly visit. It's a great, and that's why they appreciate a lot. So the people that they have businesses, they really appreciate a lot. All right. So there is an economic impact, and you should know as well that the company, as Royal Caribbean Group, we invest a lot on developing the infrastructure of ports. You should know that we have released $15 billion on 2022, and we are building and we are developing more than 60 ports as new destinations. So we have come in agreement with the countries, we have found the location, the new destination, and we are taking the ownership to build with our own expenses the pier that will be for us when we are there and for everybody else when we are not there. All right? So there is a lot of support and a lot of development to that field as well. Okay? Thank you. Yes?
Thank you for the informative presentation. Can you explain the corridor to Eden?
The corridor?
The dark corridor.
The dark corridor.
Yeah.
This is the road to Eden. This is the same. Is that like we go through darkness in order to go to the lighting and coloring wall of Eden. That is the concept of the dark corridor. I know many people hit their head, including myself sometimes, but this is the design, the part of the design. All right? Yes?
So are the stabilizers that you mentioned, is that a passive system, or it sounded like it might be dynamic?
It's a hydraulic, they are hydraulic and they are a dynamic system. Yes. They follow based to the waves into the direction. They go by themselves, yes.
One last one. Do you determine azimuth of the ship with two GPS locations by chance? Or is it
Yes. Yes.
As a fellow navigator, I was in the U.S. Navy, and we always use paper charts. Do you carry paper charts?
No. We don't carry paper charts anymore. We are fully paperless.
Thank you, Captain. I'm from Western Australia, the great part of Australia, and I live in the best part of Western Australia in the southwest. Now people, my town is Busselton, but people don't know about Busselton, but they might know about Margaret River, which is the great wine producing area of WA. Our Perth is our capital city, and of course Fremantle is our port. In the future, how many cruises do you think will leave from Fremantle, Western Australia? It seems to be a very, very much forgotten port of Australia. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I have heard that Perth is a very nice city. I've never been on this coast. I have heard that the West Australia is very nice. The problem is that it's very far away from every other port. So I can tell you that based to the plans for the next couple of years, I don't see any call on that area. The reason is because when we are building a cruise, we have to build a cruise with reasonable distances to make an 11-day cruise. For example, when we do the wine cruises out of Sydney, we can make it with the speed maximum all the way to Adelaide by going southern. So the vessel will not be able to make it all the way to Perth and then come back to Sydney. So the only way that I see this type of things happening is by having a proper approved turnaround terminal in Perth that can accommodate the movement of 3,000 in and out normally, and then the cruise to start from Sydney, finish in Perth, and then starting from Perth, finishing to Sydney. But I can tell you, on this ship, for this particular ship, there is no visit on Perth for the next 2 years that I know I can consider. All right? Thank you.
My heartiest congratulations on what a fabulous job you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It really stems from up there, and we feel it with the staff and how happy everyone is, and we've had the best time.
Thank you.
My only question was, will we be able to see the Pacific and the Tasman Seas, you know, the water, the line, I mean,
No,
the
you will not be able
different,
to.
we won't, we are
No,
not,
because the temperatures now they are normally you can define the color is changing. Okay, the color is a little bit darker on the Tasman Sea, but because now the period of time is the difference of temperature is very limited. Is not noticeable. The Tasman Sea is more a freshwater sea because it has as well impact from the Antarctica, from the ice. But again, it's not in the way where we are sailing, where they connect, is not noticeable the change. That's why you cannot see much. Okay? All right. Anyone else?
My question is in regard to the design and development of the ships. Do you work with one company that comes up with the designs or different architectural firms, and how do you choose who you use?
Very nice. You should know that the designing process of a ship, it is actually the most expensive process. For this particular ship, it costed $200 million. But we split it in a class. That's why you will never see a ship being built one. Because then, by building 5 ships, 6 ships, you build it, divide it, and it comes to 40 million per ship. On our specific ship, we have our innovation center that we built everything on 3D. And for this particular series, we have involved 5 of the biggest designers in the world. So it's different person that designing the rooms, different person that designing the open decks, different person that designed the plaza, different person that designed the magic carpet, and different the naval architect team that they design the marine areas. So there is a lot of people involved. I cannot name how many. I can tell you from a company's point of view, there is 780 persons working on the new build department shore side. So it's a lot of people involved, and we always use external suppliers, external contractors, that they come with their ideas and we are evaluating. All right? All right. Where does this money come from? The money, they come from you. All right? We have 12 ships at the moment running, 13 ships at the moment running, 13 ships, 3,000 guests, full 52 weeks a year, plus 30 ships, the Royal Caribbean, that we're in the same group, full. All right, the stock, you can see the stock price of the company as well is in extremely very high numbers. The company is doing great, and this allows us to continue building. All right, so yes, we are doing well, but we still spend a lot, I can tell you. All right, all right. Anybody else? All right, yes, sir. One more last question. Last question, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you for a wonderful cruise experience. It's been the best cruise I've ever taken.
Thank you.
Oh.
I've noticed in the ports that we are either tug assisted or tug standby. And I was wondering whether that was a result of the accident in Baltimore.
Very nice. First of all, we never had the tag assist. Even the ones that they connected the line, they are just standby. All right, because our means of maneuvering, they don't require to have a tugboat. Okay, now, the ports in New Zealand and in Australia, first of all, it's very good that they are part of the port fees, the assignment of a tugboat. The point is that all the ports, because they are normally commercial vessels ports and not cruise ships ports, they have a policy built to commercial ships and not to cruise ships. So in the commercial ships protocol requires, for example in Auckland, 2 tugboats standby at all times. It's not because we need them, it's because the port says, and they don't have a different policy for cruise ships. For example, the port of Miami, it has a different policy for cruise ships, different policy for commercial ships. But here there is only one policy, and this is what we need to comply with. So they're coming standby. Sometimes they can ask us to connect a line. Some others they can ask us not to connect a line, but they're always standby. They will not do any move before I give myself the green light to push or to pull. In Tauranga, in the departure, they pulled in the beginning because Tauranga Pier is a very old pier. So they don't want us to use thrusters and push water in the pier the time of departure for the first 10 meters, not to have impact to the wall under the terminal. That's why we use their the tags in the beginning. Okay? All right. So everybody, I would like to say thank you very much for being here. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you.